Hey guys, Brett here with Custom Offsets. Another episode of Lifts and Levels. This is going to be a Fabtech 6-inch for 2014 to 2018 GM 1500 trucks. So, 6-inch Fabtech, we're going to start off with the cross members like we always do. We're going to measure them up here. And these ones, as you can see, are going to actually measure about 7 inches of drop on these front cross members, which is a good thing. That means this isn't a 4-inch kit that they then just brand it as a 6-inch kit. This is actually engineered to be a true 6-inch kit, but we'll see some other things in this lift kit that kind of don't coincide with the drop amount of these cross members. So we've got these nice front and rear cross members. There's a little bracket here for the differential brace when it gets dropped down, and then this is going to be a strut spacer kit, so it reuses the factory struts. These are going to measure about 7 inches as well. And remember that that doesn't necessarily equate to the amount of lift. The strut spacer size doesn't have necessarily equate to the amount of lift because of where the struts are placed on the control arm and how much they're dropped, etc., etc. But let's see, moving on, we got our sway bar drop brackets here. Let's see what these measure. These are going to measure about 3 3/4 inches. Drop that front sway bar down. Now where it gets a little weird is the front diff drop, which is these brackets here, these two brackets. And as you can see, they don't quite look like 6 or 7 inches. They really measure about 4 inches, so that's a little concerning to me. I think we're going to see that in the finished product with the CV axle angles. So the front diff is dropped down only 4 inches, where the lower control arms are going to be dropped down 6 inches. So I'm going to assume that we're going to have some good angle, when I say good I mean more extreme angles, on our CV axles once this is all installed and said and done. They also do include a differential brace, which is nice. This will bolt in here and just kind of brace up the front differential when it's dropped down with the cross member. We got our new knuckles with this kit. They do include new tie rod end links, which is nice. These are shortened versus the stock ones, so you don't have, some kits you have to cut the factory tie rods. This kit includes these new ones, so you don't have to cut the factory tie rods. Let's see, we also got a little bit of a front differential skid plate, which will tie in between the two cross members on the bottom to protect the front diff when it's dropped down. And then a bunch of hardware and stuff here. You can see Fabtech also includes this wheel spacer here. It's like a 1/4 inch wheel spacer. That's so you can run a factory wheel if you ever have to, for if you get a flat or something like that. You can use that and then bolt the factory wheel on. And let's see, for the rear we got 5-inch blocks in the rear. Yep, 5-inch tapered blocks for the rear. So that would mean the front or the rear is going to sit a tad higher, if not a tad higher, to pretty much level in the rear with the front. And we got new U-bolts. One thing I don't like about these U-bolts is they are raw. There's no coating on them, so those are going to rust up if you don't coat them yourself. And then this is the basic kit, so you get the basic white monotube shocks, and these are going to be for the rear of the vehicle. And that's going to be about it. We're going to go ahead and get it installed, and we'll check back in once it's installed, and we'll get to see everything on the truck, and then also look at the angles of everything once it's installed on the truck. Alright guys, we got the Fabtech kit installed on the truck here. We're going to run through the parts and then get some shots of the angles and all that good stuff. We've got the new knuckles installed here. As you can see, there's a brake line relocation bracket. Sway bar drop brackets are installed, as well as the differential drop is installed, as you can see here. We'll get some shots of that. One of the key pieces of this kit is the strut spacer. That's up here installed on the truck, so you do reuse your factory struts on this kit. Simpler on the installation, but almost more of an eyesore for some people. As you can see, these old struts here look a little poopy, but that's how this kit is. We got our new tie rod end links, and then we got our lower and then the new front drop cross members, differential skid plate, and then there's a bracket back here as well that braces the differential up to the rear cross member. As we talked about on the bench, these were about, I forget now, about 7 inches of drop on the cross member, but only about 4 inches of drop on the differential. And you can see as the truck is up here on the lift, the angle of the CV shaft is not the greatest. The truck is up in the air at full droop, and it does rotate. It's not binding too hard, at least, because I can spin it. But you can see that the angle isn't very great at full droop. compared to some other kits that drop the diff more. But we'll see what it looks like once it's on the ground, because that's really what matters. But you will hit full droop sometimes running down the road, as it is limited though, so it will never get worse than this, so it shouldn't be too bad. You just might see a little bit of decreased life on the CV shaft. So we got the lift blocks in the back, our new U-bolts. Once again, these are uncoated U-bolts. Not the biggest fan when they send uncoated U-bolts because they rust up very quickly. We got the standard Fabtech twin tube shocks here, and some more relocating of the brake lines, simply bending the factory brackets like a lot of the other kits do here to give you slack on the brake lines, relocating the ABS lines or wheel speed sensors, and then also relocating the parking brake cables up here with the factory brackets. And that's it.